Few empires in history have left as profound a mark on civilization as ancient Rome. From a small settlement on the banks of the Tiber River to a colossal empire stretching across 3 continents, Rome's rise and fall is a story of ambition, conquest, power, and ultimately decline. In this video, we'll take you through the timeline of Rome, from its legendary founding in 753 BCE to its collapse in 476 CE. According to Roman mythology, the city of Rome was founded in 753 BCE by Romulus, after he famously killed his twin brother Remus. The twins were said to be the sons of the war god Mars and the Vestal Virgin Res Silvia. As infants, they were abandoned on the banks of the Tiber River, only to be saved and nurtured by a she-wolf. Raised by a shepherd, they grew into formidable leaders. When the time came to establish a city, a bitter dispute over its location led to Romulus slaying Remus and founding Rome on the Palatine Hill. The legend underscores Rome's martial origins, tying its destiny to the god of war Mars. The belief that the city was divinely ordained instilled a sense of exceptionalism among the Romans, shaping their expansionist ambitions and military dominance for centuries. While historians suggest that Rome grew from a cluster of Latin villages, the myth remains a powerful symbol of the empire's resilience and warrior spirit. For over 2 centuries, Rome was ruled by a series of kings. The early city was a modest collection of villages, gradually developing political and social structures. However, in 509 BCE, the Romans overthrew their last king, Tarquin the Proud, and established a republic, marking the beginning of a new political era. The Roman Republic was governed by elected officials, primarily the Senate. This period saw Rome expand its influence over Italy, forging alliances and waging wars. One of its most notable early victories was the defeat of the Etruscans and other neighboring tribes, securing dominance over central Italy. Rome's rise to power wasn't without fierce competition. The 3 Punic Wars between Rome and Carthage from 264 to 146 BCE were among the most brutal conflicts in ancient history. The most famous of these saw the Carthaginian general Hannibal crossing the Alps with war elephants, striking fear into the heart of Rome. Despite early setbacks, Rome eventually triumphed, destroying Carthage in 146 BCE and securing dominance over the western Mediterranean. But Rome's ambition didn't stop there. As it eliminated Carthage, it also turned its sights on the Hellenistic world. Greece, long divided between warring city-states and weakened by internal conflicts, was unable to resist the might of the Roman legions. By 146 BCE, the same year Carthage fell, Rome had also conquered Greece, absorbing its culture, philosophy, and traditions. The Romans greatly admired Greek art, literature, and philosophy, incorporating much of it into their own civilization. In many ways, while Rome conquered Greece militarily, Greece conquered Rome culturally. By the 1st century BCE, internal strife and power struggles threatened the Republic. Figures like Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus vied for control. In 49 BCE, Caesar crossed the Rubicon, igniting a civil war. After emerging victorious, he declared himself dictator for life, but his rule was cut short when he was assassinated in 44 BCE by a group of senators, including his friend Brutus. Rome was now at a turning point. One of the darker aspects of Rome's rise was its heavy reliance on slavery. Enslaved people formed the backbone of Roman society, working in agriculture, households, and even as teachers or accountants. However, many were forced into brutal conditions, particularly those who became gladiators, fighters who entertained Roman crowds in deadly combat. The most famous slave uprising occurred between 73 and 71 BCE, led by the gladiator Spartacus. His rebellion shook the Republic, as tens of thousands of enslaved people fought for their freedom against Roman legions. Though ultimately crushed, the revolt highlighted the growing tensions within Rome's social and economic systems. Following Caesar's death, Rome descended into chaos. But in 27 BCE, his adopted heir Octavian, later known as Augustus, emerged victorious and was granted absolute power. This marked the official transition from republic to empire. Augustus ushered in the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and prosperity that lasted for over 200 years. One of the most unexpected yet impactful rulers of Rome was Emperor Claudius. Initially dismissed due to his perceived physical ailments and lack of political experience, Claudius proved to be a shrewd and capable leader. His most notable achievement was the successful Roman conquest of Britain in 43 CE. Under his leadership, Roman legions crossed the English Channel and established control over much of southern Britain, introducing Roman governance, infrastructure, and culture to the region. Claudius was also a great builder, commissioning new roads, aqueducts, and public works. Despite his successes, his rule was marked by court intrigues, and he was ultimately poisoned, most likely by his wife Agrippina, who sought to elevate her son Nero to the throne. Nero, one of Rome's most infamous emperors, ascended to the throne in 54 CE. His reign was marked by extravagance, paranoia, and cruelty. He is best known for the Great Fire of Rome in 64 CE, which destroyed much of the city. Though some historians argue that Nero helped with reconstruction, others claim he may have started the fire himself to clear space for his grand palace, the Domus Aurea. Nero's tyranny led to widespread discontent. He persecuted Christians, executed rivals, including his own mother, and indulged in lavish performances. Ultimately, facing rebellion and abandoned by the Senate, Nero took his own life in 68 CE, marking the end of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Under emperors like Trajan and Hadrian, Rome reached its greatest extent in 117 CE, stretching from Britain to the Middle East. Roman engineering, law, and culture flourished, creating a legacy that still influences the modern world. However, cracks had begun to form within the mighty empire. Between 235 and 284 CE, Rome faced a devastating crisis. The empire was plagued by constant civil wars, economic turmoil, and barbarian invasions. Emperors were assassinated at an alarming rate, and stability seemed out of reach. It was only with the rise of Diocletian in 284 CE that Rome found temporary respite. He introduced reforms, splitting the empire into east and west to better manage its vast territory. One of Rome's most significant transformations came under Emperor Constantine. In 313 CE, he issued the Edict of Milan, legalizing Christianity. In 330 CE, he moved the empire's capital from Rome to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople. This shift signaled a new era, but the Western Roman Empire continued to decline. Rome's decline was accelerated by relentless invasions from Germanic tribes. In 410 CE, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, sacked the city of Rome, a shocking event. Finally, in 476 CE, the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. This marked the official fall of the Western Roman Empire. However, the Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, would endure for another 1,000 years. From a humble village to a world-dominating empire, Rome's story is one of extraordinary triumphs and inevitable decline. But its influence never truly faded. Roman law, language, architecture, and governance continue to shape the world we live in today. Though the empire may have fallen, Rome will forever remain a cornerstone of human history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more historical timelines. Let us know in the comments which era or event you'd like us to explore next. See you in the next one.